What is something yucky to admit that you feel deep down? Thinking things like, I know I shouldn't feel this way but I do. I'm bitter that my sister married into a rich family and constantly gets to go on free vacations to luxury destinations that I will never be able to afford. I don't want anyone to come to my funeral. I don't want a wedding or baby shower or any party. I don't like attention on me because I'm afraid it'll be bad attention and it gives me severe anxiety. I prefer to be invisible. I don't know enough people or have enough friends to have such events and I feel shamed for it. Deep down I feel like I'm too easy to give up on. Everyone just breaks my heart like it's nothing, that I'm not worth staying for, and it just makes me sick to my stomach. That my body is gross and no one will ever love me because of it. I hate feeling this way, especially because I know it's not true. I have so much evidence to the contrary. I am gorgeous. I am kind and honest and intelligent. I definitely deserve to be loved. 9/10 I can recognize this as my mother's voice and shut it down, do some self-care, and move on. That 10th time, though, it knocks me flat, every time. I can't stand my cousin's 6-year-old child. I understand that he's a kid and that everything that's wrong with him is a result of bad parenting, but I can't stand him. In my defense, I was spending time with her other 2 children and he came in and said, "Ha ha ha, I have a dad and your dad is dead," to the siblings. For context, they all have different dads and the 6-year-old is the only one with a present father. The father of the youngest died when he was 6 weeks old and was finalizing the paperwork for adopting the oldest. My BF is less stereotypically intelligent than I am. He's genuinely the kindest guy I've ever met. And I know there's different types of intelligence. He's far better than me at a ton of stuff. But when it comes to things like taking care of administrative tasks, problem solving, planning ahead, or anything requiring an academic-style intelligence, I know I have to take care of it. I hate myself, actually. I have never liked me. I have never admitted it. I always act cool and confident. I hate my voice, how I look. I just hate me. I'm mad at myself for wanting deeper, more meaningful friendships with friends who don't seem to want the same or only want it when it benefits them or when they want to emotionally dump instead of going to therapy. I feel like I'm not actually good at anything. I feel as though nobody will ever love me as deeply or extremely as I love them. I want that 60/40 with both partners trying to be the 60, but so far only one person has come close to it, and it didn't work out. I'm worth it, I know I am. But I wonder if I'll ever find someone who will love me like that for the rest of my life. My mom hasn't. They love each other very much, but he's the 40 and it'll always be that way. I don't want that, even if they love me. I love my wife. I love my friends. I love my family. If I never saw any of them again, I would miss having those relationships, those connections, just knowing they were part of my life. But I don't think I'd have a single moment where I felt like, I'm so lonely. I wish I could hang out with X right now. When I spend a lot of time without other people, I notice it in my mood, and it's not good. But the pandemic has taught me that I can spend days and days just by myself and feel 100% okay. I feel like my life is just constantly resisting the temptation of solitude because I know it's good for me. I had a business lunch with a man and he ordered my food. I do not mean he asked me what I wanted and then said the words to the server. No, I mean he decided to himself what I was going to eat, and he ordered it right in front of me. Without even telling me he was going to do that. Then he just went right back to chatting like it was the most normal thing in the world. Didn't even check for my reaction. To be crystal clear, this was not a cultural thing. We're born and raised American, we live in a major East Coast city, etc. Men around here stopped doing that in like 1960. My yucky, deep dark secret admission is this. I was in awe. I was dazzled. I was lust-struck. No man has ever been sexier than that man at that moment. And no man ever will be. I just by default feel like an annoying, unlikable person. I feel like my friends are not there to genuinely be my friend, but rather pity me. I wish my sister would die. My sister is bipolar with full schizophrenic episodes. She has 3 kids from 3 different dads, none of which are in the picture nor want the kids, and she has drug abuse issues. She refuses to actually manage her condition at all and has blamed everyone and everything for the problems in her life, even when getting help from the state, my parents, me, and my brothers. Her kids have been taken away so many times by the state, but rights never terminated 5 times for 6+ months and many shorter times. It's been a 12-year battle since she had her first kid, as she uses the kids to manipulate everyone and get money. The kids are so mentally and emotionally damaged, and if my sister just died, they'd finally have a chance at healing and maybe growing into healthy, functioning people. My father is dying and only has a few weeks to live. He is apparently waiting for me to die. I have a ticket to fly in 3 weeks. My mother has done the absolute most in the past 6 months to be horrible, nasty, rude and selfish and make it all about her. I don't even know how I feel because the entire time I've been forced to react to her mood swings and it has sapped my bandwidth. I'm a bad person and a bad daughter every time I don't activate at one of her anxiety attacks. She tells me how I should be and how I should act when she didn't even speak to her father for 30 years. My parents have been divorced 30 years and my mother has spent the last 6 months trashing my stepmom, trashing me, trashing the oncologist, and I am absolutely tapped out from having to emote on her schedule. She called my ex-boyfriend to trash talk me. I also don't have the money to go to America twice in 3 months. My cat is sick. I'm tired of having European vacation time but only going on vacation to see people who are old, sick and dying, and people who are going to tell me I didn't do enough for my father. If he died before I flew, it would be a relief to cancel. I bought a fully refundable ticket. The only reason I am going is because it is his dying wish. The rest of my family, with the possible exception of my aunt, I never want to see again. I was minding my business in Europe and I can't win no matter what I do. I'm living my life for everyone but me. I never told her this, but it bothers me. My best friend abandoned all her family, friends, career and quit her studies to move with her boyfriend to a small town. She was unemployed for a long time and financially dependent on him, still partially is. And now she often misses her life in the city, has to deal with backhanded comments from his mother and has to ask him for permission when she wants to buy a skirt or a dress she wants because she doesn't have any money of her own. He's a good guy, but I don't think she should have become so dependent on him. If anything ever happens in the future, she has nowhere to go. I would of course help her, but she wouldn't have a dime to her name. No education, no career background, no skills, nothing. It breaks my heart a little because she's such a wonderful, smart and capable person and so young to be making such a big cut in her life. Every time we hang out, it's with boyfriends included. I haven't hung out with her solo or with our friends for almost 2 years now and it just makes me sad. I know I shouldn't feel this way, but I hate men. My life had been made so miserable because of men and I've went through so much pain because of men that I just hate them. I wish they weren't allowed to be active members of society unless they took a class for 6 months and therapy teaching them how to actually be good people, deal with their emotions. I'm actively working on myself to fight these feelings though. I can only tolerate 18 to 24 months of dealing with a very mentally ill person before I want out. I think love doesn't exist. That I'm too traumatized for good, healthy love. I'm damaged goods. Or too black, too neurodivergent, too aware, observant. I live in a predominantly white-red state, that men scare me, yet I crave them at the same time. Surely sensitive, caring good men do exist, but my blackness and neurodivergence prevents them from seeing me, and societal standards reinforce it. I know these things aren't true necessarily, but they are ugly, yucky thoughts I have that act as triggers for me to reflect on what to unpack. They feel true because my life experience has informed and influenced my outlook. But I try to stay tethered to hope. Sometimes I really judge people, which I do feel is sometimes unwarranted, sometimes it is necessary. But a lot of other times it is not right. That I hate living with my husband. And I hate owning a home. I'd like to be alone and live in a cute rental or MIBA condo on the West Coast. Kinda same. I just wish I could live by myself, tiny place, maybe a balcony but no yard. Only see the boyfriend when I want to and don't have to be responsible for 3 kids 24/7. The traumatized introvert in me just hates being around this many people all the damn time. And having to clean up after them. That while I love my family, there's some resentment that I have to take on the traditional first-generation eldest daughter role. I want to travel freely. I want to be able to leave and know they're okay, but I can't. I've been working since I was 14, 2 to 3 jobs since 18. I've never traveled solo. I'm always worried about everyone else. My sister can't drive, so I have to drive. She doesn't work, so I mean she can't help bills. She's 16. Sometimes I want to get in my car and drive so far away that no one can find me, but I couldn't do that to my family. I also love my BF, but sometimes I want to just leave him too. We've been together for my entire young adult life, and sometimes I wonder if there is more out there for me. I am depressed BC. I know that I'll never get to leave. But I want to leave and explore and experience, and I feel like I'll never be able to do that. You only have one life. Make your sister get a job, and let your parents know they'll have to take over the parenting role. Then decide whether or not you still want commitment to your boyfriend. I can't fathom how anyone could possibly like me, and as a result, I isolate myself. Yes, I know it's completely irrational, but I feel like there's nothing special about me that would keep anyone around unless I'm actively doing something for them. If I receive compliments or positive feedback, I don't believe it. I feel like I'm being lied to out of pity or some other reason. I just don't think there's anything remarkable about me and I should be alone. Sometimes part of me wishes, just for a moment, that one of my parents died so I would finally have a good reason to rest and not do much without feeling guilty. It feels awful and I quickly chase the thought away, but still, it happens. That it's unfair. The man who has been pretty much my stepfather's second father for 15 years just died before my mother. My mother treated him incredibly poorly despite him showing up for her and all us kids, unconditionally. Every time. The man was always there. Always so kind. Did everything he could do for us. She never thanked him and never gave him an ounce of kindness. I had to fly back in an emergency to see him before he died. Just barely made it. Had no idea he was as sick as he was. He told no one. Part of this brief trip back I visited my mother. The whole time I was talking to her, I just wanted to blurt out that he didn't deserve to go before her. It's pretty awful, I'm aware. What it would be like if I wasn't here. That I don't want to look after my parents when they become elderly. My 18-year-old got arrested and released a few days later in February. Ever since I don't want him living at home with us anymore. I resent my older sister's engagement. She got engaged to this older man, 30 years older than her. She's 35. And no one in my family likes him. Now, we just have to pretend to be happy for her and wish them the best. I resent the fact that during the time leading up to my wedding back in 2020, my sister was not around for any of it. Not around for dress shopping, she faked sick. Not around for my bridal shower. She was hungover. Not around for bridesmaids things, didn't spend the night with me the night before my wedding to be supportive. My dad just excused her behavior as jealousy. Haha, okay. My other sister and my mom were around for it all and still are. Now, I'm just supposed to forgive her for never being there for me when I needed her and be supportive of her future marriage. I'm finding it really hard to feel happy for her. She hasn't been present in my life at all for the last 15 years. And when she called me about him proposing, she was so ecstatic. I felt resentment and held my face in my hands, feeling all this anxiety. Her fiancé is pompous and a know-it-all. And he treats me like he's my dad, which is so creepy. I don't even want to be in her wedding if they decide to have a big celebration. You don't have to be part of her wedding. I know it's not the most polite thing in the world, but if my ex-best friend ever develops a debilitating chronic health condition that renders him unable to work and he came to me asking for forgiveness and advice, I would turn him away and tell him to figure out himself like he has made me do. And there's still a major difference between us because he has and would have a lot more resources and a much bigger support system than I do. Anyone else I've known, even my high school boyfriend who cheated on me, I would be willing to help and provide information as much as I can. But I would never help my ex-best friend. He can figure it out himself after calling me boring and burden, being generally horrible, and kicking me out for being chronically ill. I will never forgive him for putting my very survival at risk and completely tearing me down emotionally, requiring several years of therapy to work through before I even started to not put myself down so much and make excuses for his behavior. Fuck that guy. That I hate my father. He was abusive mentally and physically for most of my childhood. He was an alcoholic. He has cancer now and I hope he dies soon. I'm tired of pretending I love him. I feel like I'm secretly afraid of success and becoming the person I'm meant to be. That no one will want to be with me when I'm older. I love my baby and my husband. But if I ever get a chance to live my life once again, I would definitely choose different. I hate that my marriage is arranged and wasn't with my complete approval. I hate that I got married too soon. I hate that I didn't have a chance to fall in love with my crush. I hate that I couldn't study abroad like I once wished. I feel like I'm chained down with an invisible chain and I just want to escape. I can't wait for my dad to die. My wife and I are caregivers for him and my mom, both with Alzheimer's. She is easy peasy to take care of while he's a real pain in the ass / demanding, rude, mean. He also fucked them over financially, so there's money but not enough for a long-term care facility. So, we're just waiting for him to die so we can focus on mom and have a much easier time in every possible way. Every morning that I hear him cough and know he's made it through the night, I feel sick inside. That I'm never going to be good enough for my partner or just enough. That I will always truly be unhappy. No matter what I do in my life, therapy, medication, etc., bad things keep happening to me. I try my best to stay positive and use affirmations and positive reassurance every day, but sometimes it's just not enough. Every relationship I've been in has ended worse than the one before and I can't help but think it's me. Maybe I'm not meant to be loved by someone else. Maybe I'm meant to be alone. Maybe I deserve all the things that are happening to me. Some people shouldn't have kids. Not in a eugenics way. I just think some people have kids for the wrong reasons or they don't really have the skills or patience to be parents and the poor kids get caught in the middle.